Monica Kessel is a chemistry major and a junior at UNCW. She is also the events coordinator for Pride, a UNCW student-run organization for those who are a part of or interested in the LGBT community. Her story is that of an LGBT person of color and the problems she has faced since coming out. Kessel says that most of the issues that she has faced were from the black community and less so the white community, but she believes it's because of the, quote, toxic masculinity in the African American community. In the LGBTQIA community, she was faced with a lot of biphobia at first. As she realized that she was actually a lesbian, the only issues that she had within the community were stereotypes about African Americans. Kessel states, "There are LGBT people who are just as racist and misogynistic as some straight white people." Outside of the LGBT community, she says that she experiences homophobia in small ways, such as getting weird looks from people when she walks with her girlfriend, or people asking intrusive questions because they feel entitled to that information. Worse, she says, are the people asking really heteronormative questions such as, who wears the pants in the relationship? Telling her story, she hopes to inspire hope for those in a similar situation as herself. Thanks for watching.
I came out as bisexual first my sophomore year of high school. It was around fall, like October-ish. It was probably about a week after I realized I was bi. I was like, my first thought was like, I never tell anyone, like, this will shade to my family and all this stuff. And then after, I don't know what clicked, but exactly after a week, like 7 days later, I was like, no, it's dumb. Like, my older brother's gay as it is. Like, it's not gonna make a huge difference as I come out as not straight either. But like, my first reaction was actually like, I think it was because I came out as specifically bi. A lot of the questions I got were like, have you been in a threesome? And all this like super scandalous activity. I was like, no, I got a girlfriend. Like, surprise! Like, it wasn't as big of a deal to me, but apparently it was really that deep for everyone, and I was like, oh, okay. Which kind of made it interesting and was kind of my first exposure to being part of that community. Then I found my school's GSA, and through being with my girlfriend and through my ex-girlfriend rather, and like going through kind of feeling out who I am as a person, I realized that I wasn't bisexual, I was actually a lesbian. And that's not to say that bisexuality doesn't exist, it just wasn't me. And now I'm here. I'm out and proud in the community. As for when I came out to my family, that I didn't come out to them until I was a lesbian. That was probably like the summer before my senior year of high school. That coming out story, actually, it'll tell you a little bit about my personality, I think. I kind of came out of spite, despite my mother, low-key. What had happened with that was I was at the doctor's office, and my mother had got it in her head that I was pregnant, but she didn't tell me that. She just said that I was going to the doctor's office for a checkup, and I was like, okay, well, I guess. I mean, it's been about a year. I didn't think too much of it. Then she walks out with my doctor in the middle of my appointment. I was like, well, that's kind of strange. Generally, the doctor stays in, and then they ask me about all the sex questions or whatever, but they both walked out, okay. And then my doctor walks back in, and I was like, well, we're expecting questions about like, when's the last time I had sex and all that. The first thing she asks is, she says, your mother thinks you're pregnant. She thinks that you might have gotten knocked up at prom or something like that. And my face just dropped. I was like, are you serious? She couldn't just tell me that herself. She had to come to the doctor's office and kind of force it out of me. And I kind of just laughed. And then I just turned back to my doctor and I was like, doctor, I'm a lesbian. I can assure you that there is no way that this has happened. And my doctor's just like, does she know that? And I was like, how about, you know what, go tell her. So I had my doctor go tell my mother that I was a lesbian because I was drunk. And my mother came in 5 minutes later crying, and I'm assuming that she told my father because my father was like, kind of didn't look at me for the next few days. So my family didn't take it well. I guess it was kind of a shock that now their two firstborn are gay and out. Surprise! another thing that has been an interesting kind of journey and something that I'm proud of, but it seems that a lot of people aren't proud of, is being an African American in the LGBT community. To be 100% honest with you, I'm pretty sure I did not realize that I was gay until like I was in like middle school, but I didn't accept it until high school. And the reason for that is probably that I didn't think black people could be gay. It's told as and advertised as such a very white thing. When I was in middle school, the only characters that I ever saw were gay were white, and there were white men. And if there were lesbians, they were in porn. So it wasn't like there's a lot of representation of other ethnicities or other nationalities in the queer community. So I just assumed, I'm like, well, there's no way I could be gay in the first place. Like, I'm black. So I'm just straight. I'm just like, you know, looking at girls kind of weirdly. I'll get over it. It'll be fine. And then I met my ex-girlfriend. Back to her, LOL. She was actually Hispanic, and I was like, oh, Hispanics can be gay too. Well, that's nice. Nice for them. I mean, I'm still black, but so I can't be gay. But I mean, I'm proud for her. You know, you go, sis. And like slowly, I started to realize that, you know, like you could actually be gay and be black at the same time. And then I realized my older brother was gay, and I was like, oh, he's gay and black. Does that mean I can I do that? Is that real? And I think a lot of people overlook that. They were like, oh, if you're gay, you're gay. But I think being of a different race other than the majority, which is white, it can be difficult because it's hard to find people of your same breed, and it's hard to find people that you can identify with, especially lack of representation, which has gotten so much better in the most recent years, which makes me so happy, especially for the new incoming queers and the people of the community that are like, hey, like, oh, I identify with this person looks like me, could that be something like me? Because I've been feeling a certain way about someone of the same sex, or I don't feel that my gender identity is corresponding to the gender that I was assigned at birth. So can I also be a part of the queer community? Can that be me? And that's something I feel is too often overlooked because a lot of people don't see it as important. Everyone's like, oh, racism is over. I was like, no, it still exists, and we're still working through it. And it makes me happy to see that more QPOC, queer people of color, are coming out and being more open and being visible so that we can have that kind of representation. The first time I had ever experienced open and blatant discrimination for being gay on campus was my sophomore year of college. I was at work and talking to a coworker, and we were working in a room that was very close to the LGBTQI resource office, and I was talking just briefly about like all my friends there and like how I love hanging out in that office, and he stands up and looks at me. He's like, I don't understand why we have that office. Where's the straight pride office? Like, marriage equality was passed. Like, why do we even need this? And I froze. I didn't know how to respond at first, and I just started tearing up because I guess I had never expected it from another coworker, someone that I had worked with for the last 2 years, someone that I had known well and knows well that I'm gay, and we've had other queer people on the staff, and he's been okay with that, but all of a sudden he's practically shouting at me about like how we don't need this and how like we don't like queer problems don't exist anymore because we have marriage equality. It was really that was a really hard moment for me, and it was just the room felt dead silent after he stopped talking because I didn't know what to say, and I was just like, well, I told him that we can talk more about this in detail later, but I don't feel comfortable talking about it right now because that office is everything to me. And though we have marriage equality, we don't have honest and true equity in society. There's still stigma against LGBTs. There's still laws that need to be passed to protect us. And come to find later on that year that HB2 would be passed, later on my sophomore year. So obviously we still have a long way to go. But he was truly convinced that the office wasn't necessary, and that in fact by having an LGBTQIA resource office, that we were creating a greater space for a divide. By having us gather in one place and having a space where we can feel safe, we are creating a divide between like, oh, it's the straights and the gays. But that's just not what that was. But he didn't get that. So I would probably, I think that was one of the hardest moments for me, was trying to figure out how to explain to him that it wasn't about dividing, it was about giving us the chance to be around people like us. Because in a school of predominantly cis, white, straight people, it's really hard to find not only just queer people of color, trans people. Like, there is a large community that is underrepresented on our campus, that if we don't have a space to call our own where we can feel safe 100%, it's not a very welcoming campus at all. Other than that, like, major instance of being at work, I'd say it's actually been pretty alright. Every once in a while you'll get like fag thrown at you like walking, but those are few and far between. And I find that the vast majority of the people on this campus are actually really accepting, and they're okay with you being gay. And I walk with my current girlfriend down Chancellor's, our main like walkway, and people smile at us while we're holding hands. And that's probably one of the most, it's a very small victory, but it's a victory nonetheless.